That's the story of my return, and I am super, super pumped about it.
Yeah, same.
You sound it.
No, yeah. Well, it's like the 80th time I've heard this story.
I
so
know. Thanks. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and I have with me Eric wearing the old school Truth t-shirt McCabe.
Man.
How are you doing, Eric?
How did that feel?
It felt great. And some of you are probably like, whoa, wait, whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. What do I hear in my ears? What do I see on the screen? Yes, we are back, the Disc Golf Answer Man. If you haven't been following us, Dynamic Disc on all the places, I am back, which is amazing. We'll kind of get into that, maybe a little bit of that story here in a little bit. But how are you doing, Eric?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be back here, obviously on the podcast again, where it first started.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very excited about that. Very excited about having Bobby back in the saddle, so to speak, and getting some fun videos put out there, some promotional stuff, and yeah, I'm great.
Yeah, I did a little video on my Instagram, and I found the old picture where we were sitting in a hotel. I can't remember.
That's right.
What tournament was that?
That was Am Worlds, Junior Worlds. Am Worlds. It was Am Worlds 2013, I believe.
Yeah, we were recording.
Is that right? 2013?
I don't remember.
I
remember is that we're in a hotel room and I have no shoes or socks on.
Yeah.
Recording it without. So maybe I need to start doing that for tradition.
Trying to play footsie with me.
We should do that as a little tradition. Not everybody take their shoes off. So if you're listening, take your shoes off.
Yeah.
So no, okay. So the whole deal is, you've probably heard my story. If you've already heard the story, I apologize. But just for those to kind of
just listen again.
Just listen again, and I'll catch the other people up. So yes, in 2020. Oh, and maybe for people that never even heard about me, which I get it. I totally get it. I left the dynamic disc scene in 2021. Of course, my story is I started working part-time in 2009, went full-time 2014, and then worked all the way up until 2021. And I had decided to move back home, right? I didn't want to leave Dynamic Discs, but circumstances just worked out to where I left Dynamic Discs and started doing freelance social media for a lot of disc golf companies, for Wellsax, Disc Golf Strong, Ideo Sports. And then I did some social media consulting. Actually, for a good friend of mine, Shane Solomon from Door Disc. Shout out to Shane Solomon.
Yeah, Shane's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good. Oh, you know.
I know Shane.
Oh yeah. Oh, great guy. Good friend. We talk quite often about different stuff going on. Anyway, so I did some social media consulting, and then I even did it for a gym in Tulsa. So I did that for a while, and then Clash Disc.
I thought it was okay, a gym in Tulsa. I thought it was like a guy named Jim.
A guy named Jim.
Just some guy named Jim. Okay, go on.
Just random Jim.
Just Jim.
Just Jim.
Good guy.
And then Clash Discs reached out to me and said they wanted me to help with their social media, and of course I said yes. And then I found out that they were, trying to make it in the U.S. They're based out of Finland, and they make some good plastic. It's good discs.
I felt some. I've never thrown it, but I have felt some of it before.
Yeah, and I love the naming convention. That was like a cool little way for them to stand out as well. And so I was like, I'm going to see if I can help these guys get big in the United States. So I would travel with them and do videos for them. And then I started selling their discs. I started doing distribution for them. And then, again, just circumstances worked its way out where it just wasn't going to work for me. So I got a job at Tulsa Shields. If you've ever heard of Shields, it's an amazing experience. It's more than really just a store. They really create an experience when you go shopping there. So I got a job as working in social media, and then got the social media lead part, and then worked my way up to marketing director. Helped them do the grand opening for the store, and then for probably about 4 or 5 months after opening. And I woke up to go to the gym. I was just going to go to work at Tulsa Shields, regular day. And I got an email from David Berglund that said, I'd like to chat and catch up.
Catch up.
And I was like, cool. How about some mustard as well?
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, we got on a video call, and, long story short, after quite a few meetings with him and some other people within the organization, they made a job offer, and I was like, I'm in. I am all back in. So that's the story of my return, and I am super, super pumped about it.
Yeah. Same.
You sound it.
No, yeah. Well, it's like the 80th time I've heard this story.
I know. Thanks.
No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, it's been great. We've already done a lot of things.
We have.
Just in the first, it's been a little over a week now.
Yeah.
Right? And we've already got a bunch of fun stuff already, like, in the works or ready for editing and all those things. So, it's just exciting. And it feels like, when we first did the first video that we did, it kind of felt like, wow, we didn't, like, skip a beat.
I know.
It
was
kind of
pretty
like
cool.
Old times again. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And of course, one of the big things that people were hoping that would come back is this right here, the Disc Golf Answer Man. And I was like, how can we not bring this back?
Full disclosure.
Oh, okay.
About 6-ish months ago, in August, I think it was, I reached out to Bobby and said, hey, Disc Golf Answer Man is just sitting there. It's just kind of been dormant, I guess is the best way to put it, right? Like, and to me, it's like, I may be a biased opinion here, but it's got the best logo. Right. The logo is sick. Yeah. The name is great. Yeah. It was all just so good, and I just didn't want to see it die. So I was like, hey, I want to bring it back. Yeah. And that was my plan, was to bring it back, and I wanted Bobby at least to be on that first show, and then I could kind of take it over and do some things with it. And I think we had a day that we were going to record, and then something came up and we couldn't that day, and it just kept getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And then all of a sudden, hey, I'm coming back to work.
Yeah. Hey, remember
so
that?
That's all it took.
So
I like to think I put a bug in the ear back in August.
Oh, you did? Oh, that was you.
Yeah, it was definitely not, but yeah. But I'm excited.
No, I like the way it worked out. So anyway, let's get into the show. So the show, we're just jumping, like Eric said, like my first week here, I was just like, onboarding, getting to know people again, talking with people. Waterboarding, yeah. My head was killing me. And getting to know the new people and getting to know about current projects and stuff like that. But then this week we've been filming. We did a heist video. We did a Trilogy Challenge video. We did
with the heist is a new disc of ours. Oh,
yeah,
if you didn't know that. Yes, we didn't go and plan a heist.
Right. And we filmed it.
Yeah,
it'll be on Netflix soon. And we're hoping that the police don't watch.
Yes.
What else did we film?
We did the Trilogy Challenge video this morning.
Oh, we did with the heist. We did like a heist comparison.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
and that'll be a total
shorts
little thing.
or reels and all that.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on, which is really good. And this is something we're just diving into. I kind of have a vision for what it's going to be, but I'm not 100% sure. I know we're going to do questions because that was at the core of the whole reason for the podcast. But I also want to use it obviously to talk about new discs that's coming from Dynamic Discs, and then any current events. And then, of course, we want to be here to help you. We want to help your game. We want to help if you're running a tournament. We have Jackie, who's been doing some big events here in town. We want to, gain from her experience and knowledge and stuff that she's been learning. She's been doing community tours here in the warehouse. So, and there's different people in different parts here in the warehouse where we're just going to kind of tap into their knowledge and experience and help you grow how you want to grow in disc golf. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about about upcoming releases.
Yeah, let's.
What do we got? So, like we mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about the Dynamic Discs Heist. Tell me about the Heist, Eric.
Heist. So we actually released the Heist during the Glassbone Open. Every amateur competitor got one of them. It was a stamp your own disc. So there are some people in the world that have these, and I believe they actually released. I don't know what day this is coming out, but it would have been yesterday, the 13th, is when they released for wholesale, and they are releasing on the 29th on dynamicdiscs.com. To me, it's a 12.5 negative 1.52, so it's got a lot of speed to it. The rim isn't, I don't think the rim, in my opinion, is overly uncomfortable. A lot of those 12 speeds that kind of feel bulky in the hand. I don't really get that feel from the Heist at all.
No.
For my personal arm speed, it's a bomber. Yeah. This thing goes so far. I had a video. Carter Aarons was in town. He was here for Kansas City Wide Open, and we went out and played Champions Landing, and I got a video of him throwing on hole one. He threw it like 680 feet.
Whoa.
It was a lot of hyzer release for him, and it turned, and it got full flight. I'm definitely not throwing it that far, but I think this disc could be great for almost all skill levels. Now, I wouldn't recommend you putting this in the hands of a beginner, but advanced level. I think Bobby even talked about it could potentially have a spot in your bag for like if it's a windy day
yes,
or
definitely.
you know, you need that just predictable fade at the end. And I'm very happy with how this disc came out. I think it's going to be a home run for us personally. And I can't wait to get your guys' take on it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we sent some of these to the players, right?
We sent them out to players, and I also sent these and a couple other molds out to a handful of content creators to create some hype behind them as well.
So be on the lookout. People are going to start pumping out some content about this that we can learn about it. See if it's a disc that can fit into your lineup. And then, of course, we're going to have some video fun with it as well. And then we have with us these beautiful discs. We have the Trilogy Challenge, the 2025 Trilogy Challenge. And I'm assuming if you're listening, you know what this is. But just in case you don't, the Trilogy Challenge is a friendly format, tournament style. We used to say, and I don't know if we still say kind of a
tournament in a box.
Tournament in a box,
totally.
Basically. You basically figure out how many players you think will come out to the course. If you have 30, maybe order 35 of these just in case. And then that way you have a players pack for people to come out and just have a great time. No specific format to play in. You pick out the format. You create the event. People come out and play, and they get some sweet discs. And maybe you can make some money for your local organization or club.
Well, that's the thing. It's such an easy fundraiser.
Yes.
If you are a expiring tournament director, or you want to just have some extra cash to sign up for events or whatever, running a Trilogy Challenge, you know, you're not going to make, you know, tons of money on it, but it's funding coming in, and it gets you that experience on running an actual tournament. So highly recommend the Trilogy Challenge. And it's, as you mentioned, or as I mentioned, tournament in a box. So it's relatively easy to do.
How many events we got right now?
That's a great question. Let's look that up.
I thought it was at 49 that last time I looked.
And it's very fresh.
Yes, 49. So just started putting it out there. There is a link at trilogychallenge.com. It'll redirect you to our main website, and then you can register to host. So make sure you get that taken care of. But let's talk about the discs from it. So the tried and true.
Tried and true. Truth.
Is that what you say? Tried and true. Tried and true truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tried and true.
Yeah.
Just making up slogans.
That's right.
The tried and true truth, of course, from Dynamic Discs. Just a staple. When we were out throwing this for the Trilogy Challenge video we did, I was just like, man, I forgot how just versatile. And
totally.
Just one of those mid-ranges that should be in your bag.
And it's the truth is in Lucid Orbit. So they look fantastic.
That's one thing. I have to,
learn plastic,
learn
effects.
Learn plastic and effects more.
Yeah,
I called this, I can't remember what I called this, but I was quickly corrected that this is Lucid Orbit. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I love the Lucid Orbit stuff. It just has a great look to them.
And then, of course, you know, from the Trilogy Challenge, we have something from the three brands that you all know and love. And so from Latitude 64 for the putter, by the way, that's the mid-range for the Trilogy Challenge. We have the Peak, which is, earlier you were telling me this is kind of like a pure.
It's like a pure with a bead.
Okay.
Because it has the bead on the bottom of it there. I know Isaac Robinson had a lot to do with this mold.
Okay.
Like making the mold, helping design the mold, I believe. One of his, I think his first Tour Series disc, or his first signature disc with us, with Latitude, I should say, was the Peak.
Oh, nice.
So it is available. This is the Zero Pro plastic. So it's brand new Pro plastic. It's kind of like I think it's marketed as the most durable baseline plastic. So
it feels nice.
It feels great. And I know they're only available, I believe, they are only available in white for the Trilogy Challenge.
Oh.
So I think other events, like the Pure for GBO, is blue. I'm not sure what they're doing moving forward, but they're all white. So.
All right. And if these look a little dirty, it's because
we used them.
Yeah, these are the ones we were out filming, so that's why they got a little
But it does
dirty.
feel good. And it is, I mean, just to give you a little idea on the flight, if you haven't thrown it yet, for putting-wise, it's pretty stable. Throwing-wise, it's very stable.
It's very stable.
It's not like over-stable by any means.
Like
if you put a lot of power on it, it'll fly straight. But it always had that dump at the end of the flight. So it was very predictable, and I like the way it feels.
Yeah,
it does feel great.
If you like that micro bead, definitely give it
It's a little bit, it's like, I guess if I'm comparing, I think it's almost like an Emac Judge and a Judge in between the two as far as the bead size goes, because the Judge kind of has that bigger bead. The Emac Judge has the micro bead, and this is in my opinion, kind of in between.
Nice. And of course, we have the driver, which is the Stag, and this has. You were telling me this is actually a newer type plastic.
It is. Well, it's Revive Burst is what it's called.
Well,
so it's West Sides. Yeah, definitely new to Bobby. But they look great. The burst effect on them is awesome. The stamps came out great this year. You know, I'm just being honest. I don't know that I'd ever even thrown the Stag until today.
Really?
I don't recall ever throwing one unless we did a Is This Disc Right For You back in the day.
I'd have to look.
I don't know that we really branched out much past the dynamic lineup, to be honest with you. I don't recall, but I'm sure I've thrown one here or there in passing and whatnot, but I don't recall ever throwing, and it surprised me. And
really?
The ones we were throwing were 166 to 169, so they were all super light ones today. Now, you can get heavy ones in the Trilogy Challenge, but all of these were lightweight, and they were a lot more stable than I ever would have given credit for.
Do we know the numbers on the Stag?
I can look them up. I have the internet right here at my hands.
Oh my gosh, not the internet. But yeah, so the Stag is the driver for it, and again, these discs are designed to be for, a little more, not quite like the user friendly or the beginner, but it's kind of if you're just started playing out or you're not really playing a lot of tournaments, these are going to be friendly discs for you.
It makes sense why it's stable. It's 8.6 -1 too.
Okay. So
it does have that turn, but it has a more fade than anything. It always wanted to fade back every time I threw it.
Yeah.
Today, so yeah, I'm stoked on them. I think it's a great lineup. They all look good. Better than our first edition of Trilogy Challenge. Do you remember those? It was like the Claymore. I don't even remember the rest of them. The Thief, maybe? I don't remember.
I remember that. Yeah, the Thief was definitely
the Thief
from
was
a Trilogy
one.
Challenge.
The Claymore, and then I don't remember what the putter was. But I remember them. They were so dark. The colors were like not great. But these all they're bright, vibrant, pretty cool.
Beautiful. And then we have the Tour Series discs that by the time, what's that, May
22nd.
Okay, May 22nd.
May 22nd is when our Tour Series discs all drop at dynamicdiscs.com.
I'll see if I can put some pictures since we didn't grab any. Boom.
Yeah,
boom.
sure. And I can it's the Ty Love Justice, the Parker Welk Truth, the Zach Melton, can you guess?
Maverick.
Of course. Macy Valadias Trespass, Robert Burridge Felon, Evan Smith Getaway, and Raven Klein Vandal. And all of these discs are gold color, like gold flake, metal flake is what they are, but they're gold colored metal flake.
Oh,
so
nice.
the flakes are all gold in the discs, and they're all pretty uniform, I would say. We went uniform on the stamps this year just to change it up a little bit, because in the past it had been, it gets a little challenging sometimes to have unique stamps or different stamps, and we just wanted to try something different for this release. And I mean, overall, so far they've released on wholesale and they're doing pretty good, and they're all great molds. And I actually have a video out on my personal YouTube channel where I went out and played around at Jones East and threw nothing but these discs. So if you want to check that out, go over and check it out on my channel.
Yeah, very cool. So those are coming out, and that'll obviously, as always, that'll help support these players while they're
100%.
on the tour. I'm looking forward to, like, I know Raven Klein. I of course know Zach Melton.
Who?
Love
Zach. Love Zach.
He said it.
Love.
The
love
coolest
him.
thing is when I came for the GBO block party, like no one knew except a select few that I had been talking about coming back to Dynamic Discs. So I was just kind of telling people I was back for nostalgia, and I had the weekend off, and it was the GBOs.
He lied.
He
was lying.
It was the first year of the GBO return as the GBO, and so I was saying hi to everybody. I came up to, Zach was like talking to people like he always does about the discs and different things, and he was bending over to get some discs out of a box, and he just happened to look over, and he goes, and he just ran right over to me, and he said, what did he say? Oh, he said, trust fall, and he just fell into my arms and gave me a big old hug, and I was like, yeah, that's Zach Melton.
That's Melton.
Yeah, so.
Love Melton.
And then Evan Smith. I know him from Clash Discs.
Oh, that's right.
Worked a little bit with him
he
there.
was on. Yeah, I forgot that he was on Clash Discs.
And then the other guy's Parker Welk. Parker Welk. I don't know him, but he's reached out to me on Instagram, which I think is awesome that he did.
He's doing a lot of media stuff. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting to know these players.
And you know Macy?
Yes, of course I know Macy.
Macy,
I forgot all about
Macy.
Macy
Valadiaz really well.
Yeah, so I'm anxious to get out there and help them tell their story as well.
You know Burge too.
Bert,
you know of him.
Yes, I know of him. So excited about that. All right, let's jump into some questions. Okay, so we have the form put out. Now I've got to figure out if I'm going to have, like, on the dynamicdiscs.com website, if this is going to be its own page, or if I'm just going to get.
Oh, right.
I think I still own. I think I parked discgolfanswerman.com always just in case. What happens if you go to discgolfanswerman.com? The page you're looking for isn't here.
Yep.
Oh yes, I had it direct to go to one. Oh, okay, yeah. So I believe I still own the URL.
Okay, good.
I parked it for just in case.
Do you know where the keys are?
That could be a problem.
Okay.
Because I don't remember where I left them.
Dang it.
Can I
Hotwire it.
clap and find? No, that's the lights. You turn the lights on that way.
Yeah.
Not
Or off.
or off. Clap on, clap off. The clapper.
You just aged us tremendously.
I know half the people probably even know what the heck I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can maybe get that site. My point is a place where you can go and submit your questions. Right now, it's just on the YouTube video that we put out, and it is on the link in bio in our Instagram. So that's
nice,
for now. But
nice.
I'm going to create something that way people can go to it and listen to old episodes. Well, it depends if I can get to the old episodes, but they'll be able to listen to at least the current episodes. All right, so thank you for sending in your questions. If you have questions about form, about new releases coming out from Dynamic Discs,
Anything,
running tournaments, about current topics and stuff like that. We love talking about that. So let's see. Let's just go through some of the ones where there some awesome message, people just saying welcome back.
Okay.
We got we need you all back. Bobby, McCall, Emac, Danny, and Anthony. So
Anthony.
happy Anthony for this. Then someone says, when is Robert McCall coming back? By the way, I have texted him, so
Oh, did you?
we'll see what happens. Bobby, what brought you back to Dynamic Discs, and what are your goals now that you are back? Okay, well, that's a good one. I'll jump right into it.
Rewind.
So, I know, rewind to
Are you going to tell the story again?
The timestamp. I'll just put the timestamp right here so you can go back and listen. So I'd been working at I'm teasing. No, but the goals. What are my goals? So, and I've shared this. Is probably going to you hear this a lot too, because it is my goal. My goal is to come back basically, and get back to amplifying what's already happening here. So, I'm going to be transparent and just say that Dynamic Discs over the last 4 years has been through some ups and downs. They've had some wins and losses. And unfortunately, the losses have felt hard, and that's what people have connected to. And I get it. I totally get it. I'm not saying, but I can't change the past. I can't go back and change. All I can do is look forward and say, you know what? When I got here, I was excited about coming back. And then even after I said yes, I started realizing that although I am coming back to the same company, it isn't the same company.
Yeah.
Right?
Very
Ask
true.
yourself 4 years ago, are you the same exact person? No, I bet you have something that's changed or evolved in your life. So I knew that was the case, and I knew that I was coming back to a company that had been through the ringer, right? So, but as I talked to people and got to hear their story and got to hear what's going on on the inside and not what was being put out there, the narrative that was being created by other people, I realized that the core essence of Dynamic Discs is still here. It's just it's just been beat up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talking to people and hearing them say, we still have great products. We still have great people. And we still love the sport of disc golf. It made me realize I had made the right decision to come back. And I've been telling people, and I know some people have been posting like the savior, you're going to bring it. I'm like, I'm not this. All I'm doing is telling the story of what's going on here and just letting you know, rather than allowing the negative narrative to be the story. It's part of the story. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not saying it was okay. All I'm saying is it's part of the story, and there's more to the story than what you've heard on the outside.
Yeah, I think the best way that I've heard it was we lost our voice.
Yes.
And we didn't have that, personality, telling the story like you did for so many years. So
when I had that conversation with Berglund, and it came to, he said, well, I don't know if you've been watching Dynamic Disc, what's going on? I said, well, yeah, I have. And I said, David, I'm just going to tell you, it has felt like a kid of yours that you helped raise has lost its way and lost its voice.
Oof.
And so I said, so it hurts. It hurts me to watch it happen. So yeah, my goal is to, and I have a whole brand playbook that I've shared with Eric and the team. Content pillars, and then our culture points, and it's all basically getting back to the roots, the community, the people-driven, people-focused. We're all about growing the sport. We're all about working with the community. Again, I can't wipe out the past. I can't make it go away. All I can do is say, this is how we're going to do it moving forward. So, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Welcome back, Bobby. Thank you. Glad to have you back with the crew. Any updates on when we'll get a release of the Retooled Emac Truth?
Great question. If only we had somebody here
That knew something about. Maybe that someone works in product management or something.
Let me call McCall.
Okay.
No, seriously. Let me tell the story about why the Emac Truth has been retooled.
Yeah.
So I started pulling some Emac Truths off the shelf, and I was throwing them, and they weren't flying like they normally used to, right?
Yeah.
They weren't flying like the 5502 numbers that we all love about the Emac Truth, or at least that I love about the Emac Truth. I noticed that they were flipping over a little bit more. Matter of fact, I was even noticing that the regular run truths were flying more stable than the Emac Truth. And the whole point of the Emac Truth was to have that finish, that predictable fade at the end of the flight, and have tons of glide, which it does.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Oscar over at Latitude Westside and said, hey, what can we do about retooling this? So we did end up retooling them. I had a small batch that I released down at Disc South in Texas, and then I had some that I released at GBO during the GBO block party. And the next time you're going to see them is if you are going to a little tournament in the 49th state of Alaska.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I talked to Steve-O about it last night. We're going to do
nice.
some Emac Truths for that event, some of the new ones. But, we have a ton of Emac Truths that we're trying to, not get through, but we're we have a bunch on the shelf.
Yeah.
So we don't want to just mix and match them right now. So as far as a full production run, I believe we have some Dymax versions being run as we speak that are being delivered within the next 3 months or something like that we're going to start to see them for Dymax. The easiest way to tell the difference is if I don't have one on me, but if you look at the bottom and how the Emac Truth, how it has truth written on it. Well, the up until now, the older runs of Truth always had truth in lowercase.
Oh.
It was the truth was spelled in all lowercase.
Okay.
And the new ones, the Emac Truth has the same stamp on the bottom, but the engraving is all uppercase. So it's super easy to tell the difference. Now that I'm looking at this one, I notice that the regular Truth also has uppercase. However, it doesn't have my signature in the mold. So if you have the signature in the mold, uppercase, you're going to have that more overstable Emac Truth. Now, I also want to throw this out there real quick, not to make this a longer answer than it needs to, but the disc is not overstable. I think I may have put that out there, like a more stable or an overstable Emac. It's not verdict stable.
Oh, no.
It's just meant to get back to the flight numbers of 5502 was the whole point of retooling it. I heard a few people say, well, what do we need another overstable mid-range for? Well, it's still point and shoot to me. And I just noticed that the regular Emac Truths were starting to lose some of that integrity. So I wanted to retool it, get it back to where it once was, where it needs to be, and that's what it will be moving forward.
There you go. All right, next one is from Chris. Oh, wow, that just came back to me. I used to do that. And the next question is...
Oh, and the next one is from... Yeah.
Wow, it's like getting back on a horse.
Nostalgia. You've never been on a horse.
Yes, I have.
The carousel doesn't count, Bobby.
I've actually been on a horse. I've fallen off a horse, too. I remember I was in Panama, where I was born, and I was probably about 12 years old, and we're walking along up a hill, and I'm riding on the horse, and I kept telling my mom, the saddle is loose.
Slipping.
We're fine. The saddle's loose. Mom, the saddle. And she's like, you're fine. All of a sudden, I just went, boom.
Were you upside down on the horse riding?
No.
In that?
No, I didn't. But I was like, I fell off, and thankfully the horse was just like, He just stopped in his tracks, and then, of course, I was like, I told you that.
Of course. That horse.
Oh, the horse, of course. All right, this one's from Chris. Is Bobby still a cool daddy, and just how slick is the breeze? Oh, it is the slickest and breeziest you've ever seen.
It is the breeziest he's ever seen, if you know what I mean.
Also, can you explain the difference between arm speed, power, and or spin?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Also, can you explain the difference between arm speed, power, and or spin?
I think it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because you're trying to generate spin with your arm speed.
Yeah.
Right? To me, power is it kind of power in my head at least. Power and speed kind of go hand in hand, right? If you're trying to get more RPMs on the disc, more spin, which by the way, tech disc. I don't know. Are you familiar with tech disc at all?
I've heard it. I want to throw one and see what it's all about.
We have one. We need to get it set up and do some challenges and stuff like
Okay.
that. But that's a great tool, great asset to see what your spin rotations are, your power, and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, to me, it's almost the same. The spin ratio is what are the three again?
Arm speed, power,
Yeah.
and or spin.
Yeah. So arm speed to me is how fast you're bringing your arm through, right? The power is like your power pocket where all your energy is coming from. And then the spin is the spin that you're able to put on the disc. And for me personally, I don't have a lot of power, but I have a lot of spin and a lot of flexibility to help generate that spin. And to me, spin is absolutely what creates more distance. I think that's part of the reason that I can throw as far as I can is because of the spin I'm generating on the disc.
Yeah, because I have noticed people out, like you wouldn't think they could throw far by their form, and they're not like, and that's something that like I'll do. I'm like, okay, I got to get the distance. So I'll be like, ugh.
Put all of this,
And it doesn't really get that much farther, if at all farther.
Yeah.
But there's some people that like are throwing even like lower speed discs, and man, they can launch it. But I think they have that whole spin down.
The spin, the flexibility, like muscles, like get in the way from time. You know, I mean, obviously,
I know mine
getting.
do. All my muscles.
Having a good workout routine is good to build the muscle in your core. But for me personally, and when I answer these questions, this is all from my personal experience.
Yeah.
So I always concentrated on flexibility and stretching, and just to be as loose and flexible as possible. That's where I created the power and the spin and the rotation.
Gotcha. All right. This one says, it's been a while. This is from Rob West of the Mississippi.
Nice.
It's been a while since the gang was together. Give us a peek into your disc golf bag carts, what has changed and what will never change. Well, mine has changed dramatically because, of course, while I was doing Clash Discs, I wanted to support what I was selling. So I had a bag full of Clash Discs. It was kind of a slow, as they put out new molds, I would slowly take out the DD or Latitude or Westside discs I had. I slowly took it out, and then eventually it just became, of course, because I was I'm still a casual player, so
I'm not a tournament player.
Yeah, I don't need all kinds of molds in my bag, so I had just enough to get through just about any course. But now, like when I accepted the job and I was like, okay, I'm going down there, and then I heard we were going to do a company party. Oh yeah, and play around out at New Life. I was like, okay, and I grabbed a Maverick. I grabbed a Vandal. Oh my God, the Vandal! I forgot how.
Oh my God!
I forgot how good the Vandal was.
Vandal's good.
Yeah, I grabbed the Vandal, my Deputy that I love, my the putter, and then I grabbed what else did I grab? What else did I throw? I can't remember. Oh,
you had an Emac Truth in there?
An Emac Truth. I had the Renegade. I had the Suspect.
Renegade, that's right. Oh, the Suspect.
Yeah, Suspect. So that's what it is. But there is obviously ones I want to try. I want to try the Jury. I want to try
very overstable.
I want to take the Heist. Like when I'm like tonight, I'm going back to Oklahoma for a couple days. I'm hoping I can take the Heist maybe and go out and throw it.
Yeah, totally.
I'll take the Heist. I want to get used throw that a little bit more to see how it flies. I want to. Like we were doing like test throws. I want to go out to a course.
Of course. It's different going to a field and throwing a disc to see how it flies. To me, that's great. You can have an idea of how a disc flies when you're in a field. But for me, when I truly am testing out a new disc, I'm going to the course.
Right.
I'm playing a round of disc golf, and I'm throwing it on every single hole, even if it's a hole that I normally wouldn't throw that particular disc on.
Right. But you see the obstacles, the trees, and then you see the basket, and you're like, okay, what do I do to get this disc there? Will it work for this shot? I think that's the great test. I want to take one of those and do that. Yeah. And then there's some other one. Well, hasn't come out yet. The motive, and the treason. I know those are interesting. I think the guard is another one that I think barely came out.
I think the guard was out when you.
I don't know that I ever.
It was a beadless dagger, I believe.
Don't remember.
I think it was 20. When did you?
I left in 2021. Maybe I'm just forgetting. What are some other ones that I haven't? The
Sergeant. Have you tried the Sergeant?
I think that was barely coming out, and then the Culprit I think was.
Culprit. Yep. Yeah. 2018 is when the guard came out.
Oh, then yeah, I was still here at 2018.
Yeah, the guard came out in 20. It wasn't very popular.
No, it wasn't.
It was a very deep dish style of like. It very unique style of putter. Yeah. Unique person would have to like that. I'm sorry if you like the guard, but it's.
You are.
It's not bad.
Person.
You are unique.
So it is interesting relearning the discs that I really liked, and then to see if there's any new ones I want to try. Has your bag changed over the last at all?
I mean, a little here and there, but like most of my bag, like the one thing I will say that's in my bag is my putters, the Emac Judges. I am still putting with the same Emac Judges that I putted with, like for the last 3 years. The same ones. It's from the Arrowhead Disc Golf Experience when we went to Chiefs Kingdom, to Arrowhead Stadium, and ran a disc golf experience there. Because, I'm a huge Chiefs fan, obviously. And they were all red, and they had an arrowhead on it. It was a yellow stamp, and it was just, it was like, it was a Chiefs disc. So I just put it in the bag, and for whatever reason, they have just stayed in my bag for 3 years.
Wow.
Which is weird because I used to be every month or so I would put a new putter in the bag because there was just something about a new putter that I could trust it. I knew what it was going to do. Right. I didn't have to worry about beating it up and all that, but these have stuck with me and I'm pretty surprised about that.
Really? That's cool.
It's good.
All right. So, I told Eric, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, I said, hey, let's do a quick Disc Golf Answer Man episode, answer some questions. He posted on his Instagram, so he got some questions. So what questions did you get on your Instagram?
Let's see what I've got on here. Oh, this one. How does the Heist fly? We talked about that. I already answered that one.
Yes.
Most underrated dynamic discs mold in your opinion? Welcome back, Bobby.
I have no idea.
The most underrated, like
guard. No.
Oh yeah, totally. That is a great answer. It is very, very underrated. Yeah. I'm just going through the look. These are all the molds that we have now. Isn't that crazy?
I know, it's insane.
I'm sure you haven't tried a bunch of these and a bunch of other ones. But to me, two discs come to mind when I hear the word underrated. I think the Vandal is severely underrated. It was a staple has been a staple in my bag for a long time, especially the Fusion X ones. They have a little bit more meat to them, so they are a little bit more stable. But the Vandal's a fantastic disc, and the Trespass. I don't know if you can call the Trespass underrated or not, I feel like it slipped away.
Because it's one of the first batch of discs?
It was
the first four, right?
It was it was the driver of the first four, the distance driver.
And so
Escape, Fugitive, and Judge were the others.
Everybody loves the new, which I get, but I think that's what to your point. Yes, it feels like it slipped away because so much new went out there. But it's such a good staple disc. It's interesting you brought up Vandal because at the New Life little tournament we had with the company party, I remember I threw one and you're like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Like it was just such a good throw. What else you got?
Let's see. Let's do one more here. Oh, Tyler Brickley. That guy.
I don't know about that guy.
Well, this question will make you even wonder more about that guy.
What? Do you want my lemon pie recipe again?
Yes. That's exactly what it says. He says, what is the cringiest thing you did early on your disc golf journey? Cringiest.
The cringiest in my disc golf career?
Journey.
I don't even remember. I have to think on
There's been some cringe.
Like what?
I don't...
See, it's hard to... I know there's been cringe.
Cringe? Well, our trick shot video was a little cringe.
That was cringe. That was a little goofy.
It was just... But that... I don't know if it was cringe or just super goofy, and that was just us. It was funny. I thought it was funny. You're laughing about it now, thinking about it.
When we were doing the Willett Heiser pool, and I did a 360 double, or what did I triple 360 run
the
up?
Lindy, the triple Lindy,
something right. It's like spinning, and then I jumped. I did a jump. Anyway, that was weird.
Too many to name. Too many to name.
You know what's
Tyler?
Not necessarily cringy, but I remember like. It was me, Taco, and Anthony drove to Arizona, and we were driving back, and a storm had come through, and we had to park. The storm was so bad that the RV's windows were freezing up. I could barely see. I had to like lean down to see where the air was barely defrosting the window, and we had to stay in a big gas station, and like a plaza. And it was freezing. The heater barely worked.
Wait, this happened multiple times to you?
Apparently. When did it happen before?
We were at the memorial.
Oh, that's right.
And I was
playing. That was the early RV.
Yes. I was playing my final round.
I forgot.
And that day, I woke up with like the worst migraine I had ever had. And I fought my way through the round. I got done. And usually how it used to work is we would get, I'd get done with my round, or when the event was like over, we would hop in the RV and just start driving home, because it's 26-hour drive.
It was just like,
in the RV too. We would take turns driving, and Bobby's like, well, why don't you get some rest and I'll take the first shift.
I was being nice.
He was being super nice. And I blame myself for not saying.
I do too.
Hey, let's take the long way, meaning take the interstate up to Flagstaff and then head at 40 and take 40 across the. I remember falling asleep up top because it was the RV that had the bed above the cab. I was sleeping up there, and then I just hear this massive like boom. Like something hit the windshield, hit where I was sleeping, and I remember ripping the curtain back and looking and just seeing a whiteout. And it was a one-lane highway, and there's semis driving right at us and just throwing snow and ice. And,
oh my God, it was crazy.
And I jumped down. I'm like, what's going on? And I look, and he just decided, hey, he just plugged home into the GPS and hit straight east into the mountains, and we were going over passes and all this stuff.
Oh my God.
That was quite the experience. I don't know if it was cringy, but it was definitely
I will admit,
it was a fun experience.
You were pretty patient though. You were just like, okay, let's just get through this.
Let's just do it.
What did I add? Probably 3 or 4 hours to the trip.
Probably, yeah. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, 3 hours on a 26-hour, it's really not that big of a deal.
You're going to be on the road all day, no matter what. Yeah. So, all right, good.
Man, those are the good old days, I'll tell you.
All right, Cody does have a good question. He says, is GBO or DDO back on for next year?
GBO. I think it's up to Jackie technically. Yeah. But from all the talks I've had, Glass Blown Open probably should have never gone away.
Yeah.
So I think GBO is the plan for next year. I don't know at what capacity. I don't know if the tour is ever planning to come back through here, or if we want the tour to come back through here. I don't have those answers, but in some capacity, the Glass Blown Open will be back in April.
I like it. It was interesting, and I heard Terry Miller talk about it, and I thought he brought up a good point. Because when I said I was going to bring Misty down to kind of check out, disc golf and the Glass Blown, I kept telling her, and I would show her videos of me doing drone shots, and it's just blocks and blocks of people at the block party. And then when I looked at the registration, I thought, 400. And only because I remember when the registration used to be like 1,200.
Yeah, we did set the record at one point.
Yeah, we set the record for the biggest. What was it? What was
it? It was like 1,600 or something like that.
So it was amazing. It was just. But then I had to step back, and 400 is actually a good size event.
I mean, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Right? And, let me talk about some of the hurdles that we had running 1,600 people. We had to start using courses that were 30, 40 minutes away that weren't under the Emporia umbrella of maintenance. Yeah. So, it was kind of a flip of the coin if they were, I'm not throwing shade at any of the surrounding cities by any means, but I'm more, putting Emporia up on the pedestal for taking care of disc golf in Emporia, which, you know, I'm going to get on a soapbox. Are you okay with that?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
Get on it.
I hear a lot of people talking a lot of trash about Emporia, Kansas, and disc golf in Emporia, and you know, a couple podcasts I've heard say, "Oh, let's just go to Emporia," you know, and it's very negative.
Yeah.
And I get it. You know, most of the people that are talking down on, we'll just say Champions Landing or Jones Park, have never really probably been there to see the elevation and how difficult the course actually is. I'll admit it doesn't come across great on TV at all. That's fine. I completely own that. However, I don't know that there's another city out there right now that is backing and believing and supporting a sport like disc golf than Emporia, Kansas. Look at Emporia State University.
Yeah.
For one, like the amount of support that they're doing for me, for college disc golf, for disc golf in general. Like, one thing I did want to mention that I know I made a post about this and it didn't really get out like I wanted. Atlanta Kruger is on my team, my Emporia State University team. She won the singles portion of nationals, so she won a national title for Emporia State University. We had an award ceremony. Emporia State had an award ceremony for the athletic department. Like, all athletics were there. It was like a black tie event, you know, dress up, let's have some fun with it. Atlanta won Female Student Athlete of the Year award. Like, I'm not saying disc golf.
Right.
Like, I'm talking all female student athletes.
That's awesome.
And for them to give that to a disc golfer, it just speaks volumes on the support system that they have and the belief that they have in our sport that we love.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people listening and probably like, well, my city supports it, and that's great. That's fantastic. But there is something special about, and I'm sure the naysayers are like, oh my God, here they go again. But there is something special, and the good thing is that there are people that mention that will talk about
totally.
that. Right? Maybe they don't agree with every hole at Champions Landing, but they can recognize that it's a good course, right? It's a good course to compete on. So
I mean, the most iconic island hole in disc golf.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that always. Every time I know the GBO, and I remember in the past, anytime, that was all over the Instagram, is people throwing it on the island hole. So,
or in the water.
Mostly into the water. All right, real quick, let's go to, where did I see it? Oh, gosh, I just lost it. And this is from Brett. Not necessarily a question, but please have DD do a stock release of Lucid Deputies.
Ho, ho, ho!
I forgot about Lucid Deputies. I will buy so many. I'm not kidding in the slightest, please.
Who asked this question?
This is Brent Lance. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say his last name. Too late. Sorry, Brent.
Oh, well.
Brett Lance.
Brett?
Oh, I said it again.
Oh. Why do you keep saying that?
I know. Should I do it a third time?
Yeah, do it again. Brett, Mr. Lance.
Mr. Lance.
Listen up. Have I got some news?
Oh, here we go.
For you. We have... I'm looking for them now. We have... They're not just Lucid Deputies.
Yeah.
They are Color Moonshine Lucid Deputies.
Those will be mine.
They are going to be out relatively soon. I don't have an actual release date on me, but within the next month, you're going to see those hit our website. So, or the Instagram, you're going to hear Bobby talk about them. So just make sure you're following Instagram, following Dynamic on Instagram, and you will find out about them. They are coming.
Perfect.
They are coming. And hey, guys, let us know. Keep sending these questions. What do you want to see? Because me, as the product manager, I have a little bit more say on what can happen here on as far as plastic and discs and what we release in the future. So if there's discs that you want, hit us up.
Yeah, and you may think that like we've thought of everything. There's so much going on that if you bring something up, you're like, hey, what if you tried this? We might be like, hey, yes, we should try that.
Totally.
For sure. So
now, keep in mind, it does take some time.
Yeah, I mean, we can't like flip the switch.
But we might be able to with these deputies because we actually had them.
I don't know. They sound good because I do like my deputies for putting.
They're coming.
Let's see. This is from Tim. When deciding on the par for a hole on a course or a layout, do you look at how pros will play the hole or the average amateur?
Great
not
question.
Looking at he says not looking at Disc Golf Pro Tour or high-level championship courses, but the average C-tier park-style course. Oh, that's good. That's
a great question.
Yeah.
For me, I think a lot of it will determine what the course is, what the design is supposed to be. If it is a championship level course, then obviously it's going to go off championship level pars. Now, if it is I don't want to say lower tier because every course matters, right? I mean, to me, designing courses, I love putting in championship level courses, but I almost get more out of putting in beginner friendly 9s.
Oh, yeah?
I do, because on UDisc, I get emails monthly for every course that I'm an ambassador on, so that's a lot. But I can go through and see, this course had this many plays this month. This one had this many people from out of town come and all that. It's a great breakdown. It's fantastic. Shout out UDisc for putting all that together. It's fantastic. In Emporia, Hammond Park is the most played disc golf course, which I think we all knew.
Yeah,
but we have every skill set of courses in town. But as far as determining a par, if it is a course that's more of a beginner friendly, I mean, obviously it depends on the hole shape, but anything like over a 400-foot mark in that area could be considered a par 4 for majority of players. Yeah. Keeping in mind that par is somewhat irrelevant, at the end of the day. However, to me, I have always determined par off, a player that can average between 280 to 380, we'll say, that's kind of a wide gap, but if that's like their max distance, shots to the green plus 2 putts is always par.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to have an opportunity to get that birdie.
Yeah.
So that's how I've always kind of determined it. And a lot of times you're just designing the course and you won't know until you play it, until you've seen it played a few times if you need to change pars. But I do hear a lot of talk on, championship level courses that have, well, that's not a par 4. Look at how many people eagled it. Well, to me, I love having a reachable par 4 in our game. We have eagles for a reason.
Yeah.
I personally like having a reachable par 4 somewhere on the course. Now, it does have to have some sort of risk-reward a style to it. But yeah, there you go.
Perfect. All right. The last question we'll take is from Shay from Philly. It's been a while. Waffles or pancakes?
Ooh, waffles. Actually, French toast, but I'll say waffles since those were the only 2 options.
I'm gonna have to go with pancakes.
Just because I went with waffles?
No.
Or
no, because there's this new tradition that me and my fiance have done when we travel out of town. We always find a local breakfast place.
Hole in the wall.
And then we judge the entire town by the pancakes.
Oh, wow.
No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we rate the pancakes. And there was one in Afton, Oklahoma, and I can't remember the name of the place, but now that makes me mad because if we ever go back, they had the most.
IHOP.
Yeah, it was something hippie, IHOPA. They had the most delicious buttermilk pancakes. They were you could tell they made them from scratch. It was so good. So I like a good waffle, but a good pancake, you cannot beat that.
I love some waffles.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for sending in the questions. We kind of bounced around, and as I'm doing this, I'm wondering if maybe we should put them in segments okay, these are the questions on helping your form. These are the questions. I don't know. We'll have to see. We're going to play around with this to see what we want to bring back and how we want to do it. But we definitely wanted to do it. So I don't know. And maybe we need to even have parting thoughts, right? And maybe you kind of mentioned it. Maybe some of the negativity that's out there. I'm reminded that because I'm coming in from the outside world, right? I was observing things from the outside. I was in disc golf with class, left disc golf to concentrate on Tulsa Shields. And so I saw a lot what was happening on the outside, and and I get it, that people just tend to get drawn to the negative. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say that, man, I get it, but sometimes let's see if we can find the positive in things. Let's see if we can go forward and focus on the positive and focus on moving forward. And so I guess that's just my observation so far. I mean, I've been on a deep dive of disc golf content just to get back into the whole mindset of what's going on in the disc golf world. And that's one of the things that sort of has disappointed me is that a lot of the content that's being put out there has a negative slant. And I know that gets clicks. I know that gets people's attention. But hopefully here at the Disc Golf Answer Man podcast, we can be the opposite of that. We can be the ones that bring the positivity and the fun and the joy back into disc golf and just having a good time playing some disc golf.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. And we look forward to making more of these. I don't know what we're going to, again, figure out a regular schedule, but we are definitely going to be back. We're going to look to change it up, maybe have people on interviews, maybe have people, again, from the store to kind of give advice on what they're working on. But we're just going to have a great time talking about dynamic discs and talking about disc golf. We'll see you on the next one.